Hi, this is Colin from Watch Off the Cuff. Today I'm going to walk you through a fairly standard battery change, but there's a few interesting details along the way, including how to open a snapback case properly, which I see people do incorrectly all the time. So we have this Esquire, it's a sub-brand of Movado, and we can see here we have a snapback case. So first of all, the appropriate tool, now this is like an inexpensive generic caseback knife. This is what they tend to look like. I'm in this case going to use a Bergeon number 7403 Swiss Army knife that is equipped with a case knife. So it's rounded and fairly smooth. And the key thing about using the case knife is that it's always a push and never a pry. So I see people finding the small notch in the side of the case and wanting to go like this, and this is where it slips and runs across the back of the case and scratches it. So as a watchmaker, the last thing you want to do is have any marks or any indication that someone's been inside or worked on your watch at all. Now in this case, it has a very subtle notch. When you can't find it the place to start, once you have the watch here, you flip it over, and it's usually in this top right hand side. If you were holding the watch this way, it would be buried on the top left portion here. So I'm going to flip it over, top right hand side. This one has a very, very subtle notch, and it's actually quite close to here. So I'm going to try to get as close as I can and as flat as I can. And what I do typically is I usually hold the watch in and sometimes against the palm of my hand or tightly here, so I've got a good firm grip on the watch. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to make a strong press. And I'm going to move up as close as I can because the notch is slightly high. You can see there we clicked in. Now because it's only a push and the case itself has a ridge inside, we stop out and we have a very controlled movement. Now if you press in and you stop out, then the thing to do is rotate the case and go, now that you have a small crack, and push in until it becomes, until it snaps off. So we're going to remove the case back. And now at this stage, I usually remove the back gasket. So I'm just going to take this polyamide tool, also Bergeon. I'm just going to give it a little push. I'm going to pull it out here. Now you can see this one is a little bit gunky. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to take some Rotico and I'm just going to go on both sides and remove any debris. I'll flip it over, and then I'm going to pop it into my grease pad. Pop it in there. Give it a good couple of turns. Open it up, and then when we're ready to put this thing back together after we put the battery, that's ready to go and go back on the case. So at the same time, while I've got this open, you can see there's a little bit of dirt here as well. So I'm going to take some Rotico and I'm going to clean that up. Sometimes if it's very, very gunky or there's a little bit of corrosion, I might take a small fiberglass brush like this, and I'll gently go around that seal surface to make sure that I remove any dirt or debris. And I give that a good clean there. If I go ahead and use that fiberglass brush, I want to, and nowhere near this, I want to use a puffer, and I'm going to puff away any little debris that might be there. So now that is ready to take the gasket back on. We're going to put that back on here. So now the other thing that I do is once I place it on the one side, I don't roll it over. I pull the gasket out and then guide it around, because I don't want to take that gasket and distort it by rolling it over and making it curl around the inside. So I'm going to have that gasket sit straight down into the case back. So that's ready for that portion. Okay, we're about ready to put the new battery in. This one actually takes 364. We're going to replace it with a Swiss Renata 364 battery. Before I go any further, I'm just going to take the Rotico again, and I'm going to go over the seal surface, brushing outwards. I don't want to put any debris back into the watch case around this seal, because it's been worn by someone and there's a little bit of dirt and debris that's gotten around in there. So I'm going to go around carefully there until it looks nice and shiny again. All right, now there's a small retainer in this case, so it looks to me to be about 0.8 mil. And you can see the retainer right here is just in this spot here. I'll try to get a little bit close without using my loop so you can keep it in view and I don't block the camera. I just lift it a little bit, and then I can take this tool and just push it gently out of the way. Is it going to go? No, not quite. Give it another turn. I don't know whether I got it quite enough. I will push it back the other way there. All right, so now I'm just going to gently come into this side. Give it a gentle pull. I'm going to hold that down. And out it comes. So I'm going to use plastic tweezers whenever possible. And it's a little bit awkward because I've got the camera in the way. Oh, there it goes. Put that in the tray. And you can see here when I came, if whenever possible, I'm going to work towards here. Again, you should be in control, never slip, but I do not want to touch that coil. If I do that, it's going to damage that driver coil and the watch is no longer going to run. So pull out the battery here, making sure not to touch it with my bare hands. I'll place it in there. We can use this tool to gently put it into place. We'll bring this over into place here. And I can just see that from the previous person who was in here, I can see a small smudge of a fingerprint. I'm just trying to remove it right now. You can see it's not coming off. This is the danger of when you touch any part of the inside of the watch, your oils will sit on it and it will mar that forever. So I'm just going to come in here. Again, pardon me with the camera in the way. I'm going to tighten it a little bit and then move it back into position. It's rotate a little bit with the tightening. Again, I would love to see how some of these other creators end up working at their desk like this. And doing it very eloquently with the camera in the way. And then keeping my, so there we go, we're back in business. Okay, so this particular watch does not have a second hand, so I always worry at this point, is the watch actually running? And I'm gonna use a tool made by Horatech called the Horatech Pulse. I'm gonna turn it on, I'm gonna flip this watch over, and it's going to listen for the pulse. Now, when there isn't a second hand being driven, the pulse doesn't happen every second, so don't freak that out if you have a watch of this kind. You can see that it's running about every 10 seconds. It's to save energy, and since we're only driving the minute hand, it only needs to move that often as it rotates around the dial. Now, this doesn't last very long. I heard it again. So now I'm relatively certain that, well, of course, it's listening for the pulse, so I know that electronically the watch is working. So move this out of the way. I'll flip this over. So now when I reassemble the watch, there's an index mark, which is right here, which is a gap that's going to not crush the stem that's attached to the crown there. So we're going to end up lining that up here. Now sometimes you can do it by hand. In this case I could. If it doesn't, I can go ahead and use a Horatech case press, and I would end up putting the watch inside the case press to close it. In that case, this bottom die is larger than the crystal. I don't want to put pressure on the crystal. So in this case, it will rest on the outside of the bezel. And then when the other portion comes down, I size the die on the top to match the back of the case size. This one is now complete.